Yes, I have removed the railcar network, but it's only a temporary measure. The building with the machine that sends out the minecarts is still there, but I needed the rails. I needed the powered rails. I did go into the nether to get a heap of gold, but I thought, I've got a heap of rails just sitting there. I'll use them to get the subway up and running, and then depending on how the subway goes, we might put the railcar network back. I have dismantled it completely. As you can see, the villagers and the iron golems are enjoying being able to move around a bit freer. I thought the villagers didn't like crossing the rail lines. So it has emptied out quite considerably. We don't have as many villagers crowding around in here anymore. So I think it was a good decision to remove the network just temporarily. The building, like I said, is still there. And I think the building might become one of those buildings that people sort of remember what it was used for, but the young'uns just know it as a building. It's always been there, not quite sure what it was used for. They can see remnants of machinery and rails and whatnot, but it might get repurposed. But today we're going to be focusing solely on the subway. And I have, if we go all the way down to the end, I have rebuilt the subway building. And I like this a lot better than that squat little boring building that we had last episode. So we've got a person selling tickets and information about transport and where things are. So it's like a little information booth. And behind he's got his horse, so he can come to work every day, put his horse in behind and get into his little nook. He's got his lectern down underneath where he's standing, so he's very happy in there. But yes, I like this a lot better. And if we go down underneath, here's the subway. So we've got the... Oh, I have to put the door there. I do have a door for this. This is the end of the subway. So the minecart's going to come in, do a U-turn and head back out. So I decided not to put a machine down this end because we don't really need it. There's a group of powered rails every 15 blocks. So that should keep the minecart plodding along nicely. And when we get to the station, there's an activator rail which will wobble the cart and the villager will be disembarked, I guess is the correct term. This is the central station, and I did have to turn this one around because of what we have around this subway entrance. I did have it facing here and it was lined up really nicely here, but when I started lining the actual subway and making it look uniform, I realised I couldn't have the stairs going up to the left because it would chew into the road. So I've had to swing it around and I have started dismantling it. That's what we're going to do today. So we're going to give this subway entrance an upgrade, as well as the original subway building down near the cherry blossom area. So if you didn't watch last episode, this is what the subway entrance originally looked like, and I thought that was a bit boring. That's just a little square. I have given them a facelift, so this one will be dismantled and rebuilt. And that's what we're doing today. So I've been over in the woolshed getting a heap of brick cooked up, and I've been gathering a couple of other bits and pieces, and I think I'm ready to upgrade the second and the first subway entrance. So let's go. Both subway entrances are finished. So now we have 3 subway entrances. And they're all very, very similar, although the central station doesn't have a horse keep around the back because he's in the middle of the city. He probably lives really close by, whereas the other 2, I feel, need a horse to get home. So they've got a little horse enclosure around the back, which gives it a bit more dimension and a bit more animation. Now we just have to work with the minecarts. Let's pop downstairs and have a look. So the cherry blossom end is the station with the minecart machine. And currently it's sitting idle because I don't want minecarts to be running up and down while I've been working. Because if we have a look at the map, you can see where the loaded chunks end. And that is about halfway along the track. So as the minecarts get to this point, they're going to stop running, which is a problem. We want our minecarts to be running back and forth so the visitors and all the villagers can get transport from one end of the city to the other. So we're going to have to learn how to make chunk loaders. Currently, I've got a bit of a chunk loader over at the iron farm. I've just got an ender pearl bobbing in water, and that keeps it loaded, sort of. It's not foolproof, and that's the next thing we need to work out. How to keep this subway loaded so the minecarts don't disappear. I'm hoping... I haven't really tested whether a minecart will disappear if it's got a villager in it, but I know minecarts are a bit iffy if they're loaded and unloaded in different chunks. So that's what we're going to look into now. So far, I've made 5 portals into the Nether and linked them up to the overworld to become the chunk loaders. And they're going really well. I'm really, really pleased. I did do some research to find out exactly how to connect portals. And given that they're very, very close to my original portal, this is the tunnel underneath the subway. So it's the subway's subway, or the subway's basement. So the tracks are above us, and this is my original portal. So if you've been watching from the start, you'll remember the episode with the old bloke. When he joined us, we built this portal and went through to the Nether for the first time for soul sand. And so far, nothing has interfered with this portal. So I'm really, really pleased. And it's a lot easier than I thought it was. So we've got these ones all done. They've got the contraptions that will become the chunk loaders. They haven't got the minecarts in them yet, and the hopper minecart. They're not in there yet, but we'll do that later. I'm just really excited about getting the portals in. So here's the next hole that I've made. I need to go get some more obsidian. So I've got some more obsidian. So this is our next chunk loader. Yes, I am saving some obsidian by not making the corners. We're just going to dig down. There we go. And then we need a dispenser. One of them, and one of them, and one of them. Okay. The dispenser goes there. Hopper goes facing into it. Redstone torch. Lever so it can be turned off. We need a block. Activator rail. And we can get rid of that one. And then a slab on top. And this is where the exciting part takes shape. So we light that. Then we run back to our previous portal. And we go through here. And here we are. Now, I have made an enclosure because this is basically just over a lava lake. And I don't want ghasts to blast these portals. So I've made a little enclosure, and I need to be careful because this is over lava. Now we get to light the next one. So this is the one we just came through. Let's light this one, and hopefully we should see my shulker box. Yes! Awesome! Excellent. And then we basically grab my shulker box and move on to the next one. Actually, we might have enough obsidian, because I have already made them in the nether. I completely forgot about that. And I think we've got one more. And then the entire subway network has got chunk loaders all the way along it. So I've done a bit more research into chunk loaders, and this version is outdated and it's a little bit more clunky. And it really was designed for the cooldown that they had on the minecarts, which has since been removed. So we're using a more up-to-date version of a chunk loader, which is so much simpler. And this is it. And that's all it is. A minecart going back and forth into the nether. So I've started swapping all the chunk loaders over to this design. So here we are at the last chunk loader. This is down near the motel. So we need that and one of them, which I've already got, but there you go. So we can dismantle this and store it away. We can fill this hole back in, and all we need is 2 of those. And we put a switch there, a block on top, and that's pretty much it. And then we basically go through to the nether and do the same. Powered rail. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky though, because behind this is lava. So in order to power the rail, we're going to put it on the side and put a block on top. It still works, just getting the... There we go. Look at that. How much easier is that? So we've got every second chunk loader active. So let's go back through and we'll go up to the subway proper, and we'll try putting a minecart down and we'll follow it along on the map, just so we can see if every second chunk loader will work. Okay, so now we can put a minecart into the system and we'll follow it along. So there we go. Just ignore this death. I wasn't watching where I was flying. So I'm hoping that that pink dot will make it all the way down and back. So we're basically going to wait here and see if it comes back, because even if we look on the map, my range is about there. So we're not necessarily going to see it on the map, but it takes about 2 minutes for it to do a round trip. So if it comes back to us, we'll know that every second chunk loader works. If not, I'll need to do every chunk loader. We have now got all the chunk loaders in place. Excellent. Now we can go back upstairs and do our experiment again with the minecart. And it should go out of range about here. There we go. Now we just stand and wait to see if it makes its return trip. Like I said, it usually takes about 2 minutes. We're approaching a minute, and look! Oh my goodness, look at it! Oh, that is awesome! Awesome! Oh, fantastic! So the chunk loaders work. It makes it all the way down the other end and back without me having to be present. Oh, fantastic! So what we can do now is, my inventory's shocking. We can get a heap of mine carts and stock up the system and let it run. Oh, this is exciting. So it's just sent one off, and it should be sending another one off shortly. I can't remember how many items I've got in the hopper clock, but I don't want them too close together. There we go. Oh, this is so exciting. We've got a functional subway. Oh, this is really exciting. Now all we need are villagers to come down and ride on the subway. That's our next task. And it should peter out about here. And there comes the next one. Oh, this is so exciting. And it's just sent out another one. Oh, that's a good interval. I like that interval. Oh, this is really exciting. So the subway is operational and it has got 3 new ticket booths with an attendant in each, selling tickets and offering information on local attractions and events. And now our next task is to get villagers down into the subway to ride it. I think we'll leave that for our next episode. I'm guessing we will have to maybe put some beds down there. What do you think? If you've got any ideas on how we can get villagers down into the subway to have a minecart ride, please put them in the comments below. I would love some ideas, apart from putting beds down there, which seems a little bit overkill. So we'll leave the episode there, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please give me a thumbs up. If you've got any ideas, please put them in the comments below. If you've just found the channel, please consider subscribing. I'm No Spring Chicken. This is Urban Sprawl, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.